Get variables like my name was Bigger Beckham.
Before we dive into variables, assuming you're starting out from scratch, we need a little overview. To create game mechanics in Unity, we write code in C#. C# is an object-oriented programming language that is massively adopted throughout the industry.
Bro, we be using variables this whole time. Why we go back to this stuff?
All we know, we can find out into a mix of different C# classes. We can also do necessary behaviors to create a new C# script. We can create C# script. It's important to name your file on creation to make sense. Let's call this a player. We should also know that the class name inside the script must match the following. What we have here is a class structure automatically created by Unity. We have a class player, which derives or inherits one behavior. One behavior for Unity is required to have script name objects. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Within the class, we have two default methods, quick start and quick update. These methods are called automatically by Unity because we're inheriting one behavior. You'll get experience working with these methods to create your methods, of course. Your variables will be stored within the class file. More on that in this video. Lastly, we have these using statements on the cover of our file. These are called namespaces. You can think of them as access to libraries of code. For example, this using Unity Engine 1 is required for us to inherit from one behavior. It opens the ability to use the Unity Engine API with our script. That's how you're working with the C# script. I'll see you in the next video.
Okay. I mean, it's really simple. It's not much to go over. Whenever you create a script, you have a class. The class is moved to. It needs to be the same name as the one here, moved to. Whenever you do that, you have you're using Unity Engine. And Unity Engine, to use mono behavior, you need to use Unity Engine. Since mono behavior is in Unity Engine. Since you have mono behavior, then move to has all the things that mono behavior has. So you're able to call all these functions because they all inherit from mono behavior. So all these things inherit from like mono behavior, and that's how you're able to call these things on move to because move to inherits from mono behavior, so it gets all the stuff from it. This is how you're able to call update and start from the move to class. Because so once again, when you call start, you're calling start on the move to, but the move to gets the start from mono behavior. You understand? So you're calling update on move to. So you're saying update move to. You're saying update move to, update the stuff in move to, but it inherits from mono behavior. Now what mono behavior is going to do, whenever it runs, it's going to call all the update scripts of everything that inherits from it and stuff like that, or everything that has its update, so like that. But that's pretty much the point that's being said. And this is like the kind of stuff as it. I don't know why he would put I don't think I was even recording for that, but I don't know why he would put optional a value for here and then have data type. Strings, bools, float, int is not data. Int, the word int is not data. It's a data type. 11 is data itself. So like he should have just put data. Like, yeah, data types are boxes for data. Well, the real box you could say is okay. So once again, the box itself is strings, is float, int. That's the box. The name on the box is this. This is how you conjure the box. Is that you look at it that way, and then what's in the box is the data, but you put value. But you better off just put in data, since you have data type, the type of data. Then data itself is this. Then the name you use to conjure it, bring it up, everything else is this. So that's how you individualize the box, make an instance of the box.
To use the string, the bulk string was in my name. We use the bulk candies, where basically the first word is lowercase followed by the second letter, or followed by the second word is our conversation. And here we option money. Now remember, fourth, now we have option. So if I want to, I can do this like one here, every state money down. Or I can say equals, and say it was John. And it's a string passing over conditions. So I can say John, I can say this, and then copy it, and select my name here. I'm going to drag my place onto my camera. You can also start with the you'll see that my name is John. I can also change this, I can insert the bulk down. So I can change the script here. And I notice here, the script overrides the script. So the script here, so it's Jonathan, I'm going to change the script override. And I want the initial value script, and something here on here, in the script. And I turn that to that. Another thing that bulk here, so I'm going to change this to private. Now the private only the script has it. I mean that's shell from work. So check out here is the file. My name is over there, is the private variable. So here we're going to public personal other people access that information. So click this, we have here my age. So my age is equal to my age. So all equals my age. So we can assign option as well. Just save this. The option value of default value is 0. So you see here in the second was the file. And we now have my name followed by age 0. And once again, I'm going to write this here. And once the script, my option assign here, my age equals 26. So the next thing we have is location. So I find here and and what is location of the script, right? And that is my character string text. So I'm going to create a string type for my location, and that equals an answer. So to wrap this up, let's go ahead and print out these values. If I want to print these values to console, what I do is say debug log. We'll say debug information console. If I do that, I debug log and put it here. You'll see that that's the report log. So message is a string. So we can say my name is going to be and then the variable. So we say my name. I do this happens here. You'll see that when we run this. The console will print out my name is John. And when I'm running this, and I change like your name. Yes, the variable can change. As important to know, the variables are not constant. You can represent, you can change their numbers. You see that they're being edited down to the names. So that variable change. And also change the code. So here it's a code, which my name equals something. And then when we start doing play, I'm going to change it. So we say my name equals say Lauren. So we do that. The names of the whatever it is, the names of the name will be put to the name into account Lauren. So we consider that my names are changing things better. And when I run it, you'll see here that it's printed out my name. Right, that's how I want to print out my age over these. Do a log. We just add my age. We just add a value. And I do that before we just put a string that's individual. So right. Alright, so here it's prints out 26. So when you information console, you have a text that says my age is colon space and then use plus sign and then information value. The last thing is that vector is equal. So remember you're making the character has a key. This keyword to have a key in it. It's correct. So the question in the true false question is or no. This is the type cool. It's a great rule. It's a cool. And the false has key. So the question in the default is false. What you do is take that variable, logic, whatever value, and use it to display whatever it is word press well. So see that the box has key. You can turn down this function. So has key is true check and has key is false. So this is a high level of variables and then the variable has a word as well as a word variable with three variables and the series challenges to read through.
It did jog my mind to make me think of. There's nothing mainly about the video that I need to like go back over, but it did jog my mind to make me think of whenever you do debug.log. Okay, so let's say you have build and you have int my age, right? Let's say you have 30. It starts at 30, right? So let's say you say debug.log and then you have my age, right? Something like that. So now, what would this be on cue? It would be 30. It should debug.log 30. That's what it should debug.log 30, right? Because it's being set to 30, so it should debug.log 30, right? Okay. Now what happens if I change it to 40? Nothing, because it's in the start. But now what I wonder is, what if I do debug.log my age here? Now it would say 30 there, right? But then if I change 34, okay, so every single change, it updates to take up with what's in the inspector. Now what I wonder is, if I do my age equals 2, and I do that, so it should say, let's say I also do my age equals 1, and it does that. So first of all, let's remove this from there. So now it should say 1. It should say 1, right? And that's it. It should. So I think it should only say 1 since it did it in the start. It should just say 1, right? And even if you change it to 33, it wouldn't really matter. It should just say 1. And after that, you should go. Yeah, I think it's pretty simple though, like what it would be. Yeah, it should just say 1 and 2. Just 1 and 2. That's it. And then it updates 2. Now 3. Anything else you add to it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, anything you set in start is going to be that way. Because even if it say 30 up there, and let's say you put, what I'm going to do is change my age in the inspector to 50, just to see if like, so in the inspector is 50 and up there is 30. No, I think it's going to be 50 from the inspector. But yeah, I think it's only 30 if you set it here, right? My age equals 30. And then it'll be 30. I think then it's 30, yeah. Yeah, because you set it in the start. I don't think that what works up here really works. I think the inspector comes over what's at the top, and now to be 30. See, because at the start, the inspector overrides anything in here is overdone by the inspector, right? Like I could look and show you, right? It'll debug 50 in the update. Why? In Unity, it's up because the order of operations between the inspector serialization and the code execution. Why it says 30. When you press play in Unity, the following sequence happens. Unity looks at your inspector, sees you type 50, and sets my age to 50. Immediately after the game begins, your script explicitly runs the line my age equals 30. Your manual code overwrites whatever was in the inspector. The value 50 existed for a fraction of a second before start had changed it. When you remove the code inside start, Unity, the inspector sees 50 and sets the variable. There is no code in start to change the value. Update reads, the 30 in your header private age is a default value. It only applies the very first time you add that script to a game object. Once the script is an object, Unity remembers what is in the inspector box. Okay, if we change the inspector to 50, the equal 30 in your code is ignored by the inspector, but the my age equals 30 inside start is never ignored because it is an active instruction. Rule though, if you want a value to be editable in the inspector, do not assign a value to it in start. Oh, you start only if you need to calculate a value at runtime that the inspector shouldn't control. Okay. Yeah, that's it pretty much. There's nothing really about it. Common data types. Nigga, you just named all the data types. String, float, int, bool. That's it.
This video really likes common data types. So here's go ahead and go with our common generic variables. We're going to unlock section. Let's say this is common data types. So we're creating variables. The big struggle is what we're creating position. So we're creating a variable how many is consumed and how many stores any type of data. So you can see this. So let's see that we'll see it. You can see that in the first teacher. We have something that's on string into the bool. You see that character type, which is just a key or the string position text. The next thing you have to do now is get into a this data. So for example, my coordinates is equal to 0 to 5. You have an integer, which is a now you basically have to negative 2 million and 100 million. If you're going to how you consider these which is 0 to 5, consider one multiplication, which is now you can make 100 million. You have to type a sign 0, so you need to negative, so you have to 0 and 4 million. The next thing you have to do is look at it, you see the values are decimal values, different, so the small value is the largest value will move down. We have the string, the decimal, and then you have something different. And we get things 8 times, it's only how the traditional data types, I think, will go together. The things are very specific. So for example, 80 or 25 to it's not 85. But the thing is unique. For example, you're making a factor, you're use it. So I'm going to have variables that maybe like my age, let's say here, store, and let's say, click speed. Now to find that speed variable, that's what I want to say. I say, I have this blue light, so hard size. You're asking your hair, you're having. So you have source these are names. Now, how do we do this? You put on your reference here, the whole thing, and create a name. That's the point. Click. From there, we're going to create the whole animation part. So the animator actually has all the controls for what we're saying here. And we call this, say, yeah. So we say this, these are used to say the animator. If we select our name camera, you'll see that we now have player, which is right name, and just right name. You'll see we have a transform when we're here. So here, we're going to transform. We'll call transform. We'll say my transform. If I say this, we'll do definition transform into the different slots. So you're transform, you transform. Now we actually reference to transform. So we're going to put on the position, x time my transform. Because it's one variable, not x. So I say, you want to grab that out, you say transform, not position, not x. And then print, go to speed. Now to find the speed variable, that's what I want to say 5, I say 5, is a look at the hard size that. But you're going to have to do it so we create source these easy dates. Now what happens when you put on your variable, the whole thing, and create a name, and call it play. From there, we're going to create the whole animation part. So the animator actually has all the controls for animation, all the animator. And we call this setting yeah. So if we say this, these are used to say that animator. If we select our name camera, you'll see that we now have player, which is right name, and this is right name. You'll see that we have transform when we're camera. So we create a variable, transform. Let's call it transform. We'll say my transform. Let's say this. We'll do definition transform into the different slots. So we have transform, you have transform. Now we actually have reference to transform. So for example, I'm in the position, x time transform. Because it's sort of variable, you know, right? So I say, you know, I actually grab that out, I say transform, not position, not x. And now you variable x on each position. So we run this. It will tell you to start with x is 0. This is your problem, 0. Right, so those are common types. And so anything can be anything you need to be so you're going to create for itself. We need to create variables to that. If you're using transform camera, then you have your reference to transform. So for example, I'm in the position, x time transform. Because it's sort of variable, you know, right? So I say, you know, I actually grab that out, I say transform, not position, dot x. And that will print out the value of the variable x on the transform position. So if we run this, we have all those values, and void starts, we're going to print out the transform x, which is 0. Then you'll see here in the console, it prints out 0. Alright, so those are common data types, and just know that anything can be a data type in Unity. Any of these components can be data types. So you have your player component, which could be a data type in itself. When we get into script communication later in the course, we'll see that. You have an audio listener, you transform your camera, and then you have your traditional C# data types. So now let's get some practice to the transform variable that's going to hold the transform. I'll have player. These are Unity-specific data types. Now what happens when we get into things from Unity? What if I wanted to get a reference or a variable that's going to hold a name object? I can create a type name object, and let's call it player. From there, what if I wanted to create a variable that's going to hold the animation of a player? So like the animator attached to it, which has all the controls for its animations. Well, we would say animator. And we would call this, say, anim.
Okay, I never looked at these as data types, I'm going to be honest. Okay, so it's just... Okay, so every component is a data type. So if you look at transform as like a data type. Okay.
So if we save this and hit back into Unity, these are Unity-specific data types, the animator and the game object. And if we select our main camera, you'll see here that we now have player, which is looking for a game object, and anim, which is looking for an animator component. You'll see here that we have a transform component on our main camera.
Isn't it bad to look at it like this though? Because I mean, really, it's not really a data type. It's really just, if you were to be honest, isn't it like, it's like, it houses vectors and stuff. Isn't it like objects? Like, isn't player like an object? Isn't audio listener like an object? Isn't camera like an object? And it comes like the camera class and it's an object, an instantiation of something like that. That's what I think it is anyway. It's like objects. I mean, data types aren't really objects. So, I mean, I don't know about this, but I don't know. But I guess looking at it like a data type, I guess you could look at it like a data type. But okay, I guess so.
So we can create a variable that's going to hold the transform. Let's call it public transform, and we'll say my transform.
Let me ask. Things like game object, animator, etc., that you can use in code like a variable, i.e., game object. Or as a data type. In C# types like GameObject are classes. When you write public player, you are creating a reference variable. Think of it as a data type. What? Data types are not reference variables. What does that mean? When you declare a public image of player, you are telling you I am creating a variable that is only allowed to hold a GameObject type of data. At this stage, the variable is null empty, is not an object yet. It is just a label or a slot that can hold the address of a real object. Is it an object instantiation? No, declaring the variable is not the same as instantiating object. This is the pointer. The instantiation new game object or instantiate prefab. This is what actually creates the object in memory. The inspector connection. When you use serialize field public and then drag an object from a hierarchy to a slot, you are performing an assignment. You aren't creating a new player. You are giving your variable the address of the player that already exists in your scene. Key distinctions are reference types. In C# classes are reference types. If you have public game object A and public game object B and you drag the same player into both sides, both variables are pointing to the same object in memory. Oh, it's a reference type. If you change A, their name will also change because they are both looking at the same instance. Okay. Okay, so they're reference variables. Okay, so they are reference variables. Yes, exactly. They are reference variables. When you write public animator myim, you aren't creating a new animator. You are creating a pointer that is currently pointing at nothing. And you're saying that it can hold an animator. Okay. Think of a reference variable like a remote control. This is like buying a remote control. Okay, so how does this connect to get component? Okay, so when you do get component, okay, so whenever you do whatever location equals get component transform, you're doing the exact same thing. You're getting because you're getting the data, the transform that it is going to point to, and then you are using it as this is what the thing you named, the location is going to point to this transform. And then now anything you change on the location will be changed on the transform of the thing that is pointing to. So pretty much like that's it. Yeah, the assignment is dragging in the inspector, or the assignment is get component. Or the assignment can be like get component, right? Yes, it's just another way to perform that assignment. Instead of inspector pairing the remote control for you are writing code that says find this specific component on this object and pair it to the variable itself. Two ways to pair the remote. You can drag and drop the reference as hardwired before the game even starts. Get component, animator, my anim, get component animator. You write it in code, usually in await or start. The variable is assigned the moment that line runs at runtime. Okay. When to use which? That's for objects in other parts of the scene or prefabs. Objects in other parts of the scene. only looks at the current object. To get something else, you need the inspector anyway. Components on the same object. Okay, so use this when components on the same object. And prevents missing reference errors if you forgot to drag something into the inspector. Okay. Try component. If you aren't 100% sure a component exists, try component, introduce a new one. It's faster and safer because it combines the find and the node check in one step. Okay. Try git component. Okay. That's cool. Okay. So it's called a reference variable. That's cool. I mean, that's cool. A reference variable. Okay. Okay.
By saving this, what we can do is drag that transform into the transform slides. So here we transform those. So now pick some.
Yeah, so they reference variables. Master variables part 1. Reference
What
variables.
would be your first challenge of variables? This is going to be master variable in you. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick out the other variables to create, and then you're going to use one to create a variable.
So you have reference variables. You could assign them in the inspector. You could assign them in the inspector. You could use a get component and on the same object to get it from there. You could use a game object.find, which is you find the game object by name. So you find the game object by name, and then after that, you use a get component on that game object you found by name. Use a get component and get it off of that object. So it's a couple different ways you could do it. You could create reference variables, but they are reference variables, which mean they point to a animated transform or whatever else. They point to those things so you could change things about them. Script, whatever.
And then to console. And each time for videos, I'll show you exactly how I set this up, but definitely try to take these on your own. So let's take a variable we want to create. Let's go ahead and start using this. Create a variable for your name. Just store your name, right? So you're storing information. Create a variable to store your name. Let's create a variable to store your age. Let's create a variable to store your speed. Let's create a health variable. Great health variable. Let's go ahead and create a store variable. We'll create a speed variable. Let's create a variable to check if you collect all keys. So variable to check if all keys were collected. Talking about question marks are rules, right? For all seconds. Let's have a variable here to keep track of ammo count. So variable for ammo count. And what I'm going to do is going to print out all the data that will start using the ammo count. And just create some reasonable text with it. So go ahead and delete this so you guys keep track of ammo count. So variable for ammo count. And what I'm going to do is going to print out all the data that will start using the ammo count. And just create some reasonable text with it. So go ahead and delete this so you guys. Delete this so you guys can challenge some text with it. So go ahead and just create some reasonable text with it. So go ahead and delete this so you guys.
Name, age, speed. I think he meant variable. But name, age, speed, health, score. Name, age, speed, health, score, speed. Create a speed variable. Wait, what the fuck is the difference between a speed variable and a variable to store your speed? Wait, did he mess up?
So let's create a variable to store your name. So you're storing information. A variable to store your name. Let's create a variable to store your age. Let's create a variable to store your speed. Let's create a health variable. Great health variable. Let's go ahead and create a store variable. We'll create a speed variable. Let's create a variable to check if you collected all keys. So variable to
What's the difference? A variable to store your speed versus a speed variable. Is he messing up or am I retarded? Am I brain dead?
check if all keys were collected. Talking about question marks are rules, right? For all seconds. Let's have a variable here to
Variable to check if all keys were collected?
keep track of ammo count. So variable for ammo count. And then what I'm going to do is going to print out all the data and we'll start using the ammo count. And just create some reasonable text.
I'll try. It's a little stupid though, so I gotta see what he does, but I'll do it. I'll do it and try, but I'm sorry, bro. What he doing is a little bit stupid. It's a little bit stupid what he doing. Let's just take away that. Let's take away that. And let's you can remove all this, bro. I don't need it anymore. I mean, yeah, I don't need all that. Let's let's remove some of this. I don't need all this. Yeah. A variable to store your name. Jesus, I hate a lot of this stuff. Let's just say serialize. Let's say train name. Variable to store your age. Variable, create a variable to store your speed. I don't know. Health variable. Score variable. I already have a speed variable. I assume he messed up. Yeah, I'm gonna do this now that I'm gonna see what exactly he was trying to say. I have no clue what he was trying to say, so I don't know about that at all. But still, I have no clue what he was trying to say. But 30. So Eli 30. One. What is the one for? Eli 31. 100. Oh, the one is probably from another script. Okay, so that's 100. 7. False. 10. The keys collected false. Okay, now let me see what he was trying to say because I don't know what he was doing. I'm marked this as complete though, but.
In this challenge review, we're going to create variables independent of the console using start and debug one. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to create a variable name to string. So here we're going to call it reference. We're using string, so we use text. And then we'll call this name. So my name equals say John. Now here we have another variable, let's like call it for my age, which is important. We'll say my age equals, let's say closest. Then we have your speed. So let's say your speed could be a decimal value, so we'll start with float. We'll say what float speed. So you can say speed or my speed, that's it. And let's just call this, let's say 10.2f. Right, we need that f separate because we're with floats. The next one is name right? So what's up? So name is usually like as an integer, right? You use 2%. So here we're going to say public int, let's say health equals 100, very healthy. And then here we have our score. So score is usually numbers, right? So say int is the number. Score equals, let's say 20. Followed by we have a speed score here we get, or speed value. And then let's see here, we have regular check all keys on. So here we're creating bool, and the question has all keys on. So here we have has, let's say has all keys. Right, we need that default, we set true if you want, or we set false, it's default, like this, true, false.
A lot of the naming things I need to do, I have to change it. I have to start putting my before names. Or before a lot of stuff. Like my name, my age, as if I'm doing myself. Or I could do his age, his this if I'm doing someone else. Or I could do John age, John name. I could even do John's name. Stuff like that. Just start doing stuff before name because name is so generic. It's like you should always have something to refer to who names it is so you can understand. And the same thing with bools. With bools, use has. Has all keys. Has a relationship. Succeeded. Stuff like that. Just has.
So it's always there. It's an integer, right? So here we have public int, and account comes in equals 66. Let's save this. Let's hop back into our sort here.
I would also do my before my health. My health.
Say my name is. Then you actually say I set my name is and then my name is. But we actually set one giant set to be one. So we say my name is plus my name. Then we can have a plus sign with some text. So my name is Jonathan, and I am. We'll say I am 26 years old, which is going to be my age. And then we'll have a plus sign. So I am 26 we'll say plus years old.
Oh, append it all together.
So say speed. Right over here is end. Every line is an semicolon, and every line is open close parentheses. So if I have one, I open parentheses, close parentheses, after read.
Okay.
One parentheses, on message, close parentheses, and every line has a semicolon. So here after you speed, your health, so we'll say quotation mark health is text. Right, and we'll say health. And then next here we have debug log, we have a score, and we'll score. So yeah, next is our bool, and the bool is returning true or false. So with that we're going to say debug log, we're going to say has all keys. And that's going to return us the value.
When I do another tutorial, I'll do something like this. When I do it, but I'm gonna do mad tutorials. I don't have to re-go do it. If I thought of that at the time, I would have done it.
True or false fails, has all keys. And we use that data return to logger. Right, I'm going to stop there. If you want more, you just say debug log, the end account. And we append the account. So let's say that happened to me, our script here will update. Right, there's a note, if I run the game, it will then print out the ones I don't have. So here, it's 0, that's my jump, my first 0, my score is 2, 100, score 0, as all keys false, maybe I have 66. And you see that the score is 0 because an expector is written 0, so I want to say 20, I want 20 score. And then because I didn't see what the blank saves, so I need to reprint it, we'll say 160, rerun the game. And we now say my score is 160. And you see that right here, score 160. So that is how we print off variables for creating variables. So you have to if you put this as one giant set to be 1, so it's, for example, so we'll say, is our bool value, and the bool is going to turn true or false. So with that, we're going to say, give it a log, we're going to say, has all p, give it a log, e, count. Name, table that print out the console everything you have. So it's I'm going to stop there, but if you want more, you can say, give it a log, e, count. And we append the count. So let's say that happens to you, our script here is going to update. Right, here's all values, if I run the game, it will then print out the console everything you have. So here you can see that as a running from, and we append the count. So let's say that happens to you, our script here is going to update. Right, here's all values, if I run the game, it will then print out the console everything you have. So here you can see that as a running from, 26 years old, my score is 7.2, how 100, score is 0, as all p is false, and I'm 66. And you'll see that the score is 0 because in the inspector it's written 0. So I want to say 20, and 120 score. And then put it in save, because the thing saves. So I need to retype in, let's say 160, rerun the game. And now say my score is 160.
Did he change it to 0? I don't understand that at all because it should be whatever it was in the thing, but okay.
In this challenge, we're going to create a new C# script and create variables related to an example. So let's create a new C# script. Imagine you're creating an RPG game. You want to create an item class. So let's create a new C# script and let's call it item. Let's open up new. And you'll see that we have an item class which I created. And so I'm just going to have our class by having variables lined. We already worked with what it is in this but we're going to use one start to print off values. So here we have public class item. Now when you define your class variables, what defines item? Remember that your video games won't know what an item is. You define what an item is. So for example, in RPG, every item has a name. Every item has a description. Let's say every item has, we have a name description, maybe every item has an image, right? Has an icon, has an image icon. And then one more thing that we have here is maybe every item has a tag string, right? So a tag string. Right, this is just an example to demonstrate how you create variables for what you're creating. So in this item class, every item has a name, every item has a description, every item has an image icon, every item has a tag string. Now with this, the part we're going to struggle with is figuring out what is image icon. In video games and Unity, we need to solve sprites. So what we need to do is figure out how to add a sprite image to this variable and make it available in the inspector. So it's going to require a little bit of system familiar. But go ahead and save your script here and fill out the variables. See you in chapter 3.
Okay. I don't really need this script in if you want to. I don't really need it. Let's create an item script and then let's fill that out. Maybe here's the item. Open that up. So every item has a name, description, image icon, and a text string, right? A name. Okay, so public string item name equals sword. Every item has a description. Public string item description. Jacket. Every item has a, what other thing? Name, description, image icon, and a text string. So let's do a text string. Public int. It's 12. Item and text string. Public. Okay, so now image icon. So now what would be the image icon? So now that's the hard part is you would now trying to get the image icon to be correct. So I would think that would be a UI image. No, not that. That's not what I was looking for. So I think it would be a 2D object. No, not an object. Not a UI. But a UI image, raw image. No, not that. Okay, let me pull it. Okay, so I pulled this in, and it's just like a PNG. It's like a PNG. So now you have this game object. And what's the name of it? Let's call it a sword. I know it's stupid, but I just want to see a PNG. Would it fit here? No, it does not fit here. Nope, it doesn't fit. So, okay, I thought it would. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought it would fit, but it doesn't. You can use it as a texture, but not as a sprite. So it's not a sprite. Would I have to install the 2D sprite package, or I don't know. Okay, so this is a PNG. But even though it is a PNG, it doesn't work to go into the sprite thing, which I would think it would. I don't know if I need to install the package. Also, I have to install the package. Okay, so I'm just editing this right here. I'm just adding this right here, the sprite package, the 2D sprite. Because technically that should work. Okay, I added it. It still don't work, so that definitely wasn't it. It still don't work. It's just the PNG I brought in. I would think it would work. I don't know why it doesn't work. Okay, I brought in another one. Yeah, so neither work. Both PNGs. I don't know. It says to change the texture type from default to sprite 2D and UI. It says sprite mode to single. Scroll down and click apply. No way, right? No way, no way, no way. Sprite 2D UI. Sprite mode single. Apply. It's just so stupid, man. That's it. Now you have a sprite. And now let me add a. Okay, so now I'm just going towards the jack. Okay, so I added a jack sword, put it on sprite 2D, put it on single, click apply. Now it could be brought here, and it's a sprite. So it's there. You have a 2D image, a jack sword, and you have it there. All right, that's it.
But go ahead and see your script here. Info variables. See the top here.
I don't know if he wanted me to debug.log. He never said to. All he said is figure out how to do the image, so I did that.
In this time review, we're going to go ahead and define what this type class is. So inside this type class here, we have our name. So here we have a public string and name. Then we're going to have insertion, which is also a string. So insertion. And then we have an image icon. Now the image icon we want to use basically is sprite. So here we're going to have sprites. We have public sprites. This is going to be icon. So icon. And then we have an attachment. So for that, it's all going to be a ASM value. So for that, I can say with floats, let's say attack strength. And I don't define anything that I want to. I can use the inspector to define them. And then whatever the inspector is what we use. So if I select my camera, I can attach my item script, which I know it. And then define my name. So let's say sword and insertion. This is a powerful sword. Like item icon inside a sprite if I want to. So if it has an asset requires, I can actually assign a sprite. And then here attachment is 15. So when I do now, it's like now. And I can then say debug.log. Let's say name. So here we're going to grab the name. And we'll say debug.log insertion. So insertion. And then we're going to insertion. Followed by the attachment. You don't have to image icon to print out, or it won't print out the image, print out the name image. So instead we're just going to use debug.log attachment. Right, so attack, and then the attack strength. So by creating the variables, you can see that now ended. Right, so here. You can see that when I run the program, name sword, restrictions, name power sword, and 15 for the attack. Right, so that is creating a variable to define the properties of the class. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Oh wow, that's it? Oh, okay. So he just wanted you to make a sprite. That's it. Just the item icon. That's it. Okay. I thought he wanted other stuff, but okay.